Hi, I'm the person behind the Gen Z E Workbook. I'd like to tell you about the workbook construction. It is an electronic workbook. It is built as a 10 modular set. Each module progresses into the next one. And it is an invitation to read and participate with the material. The subjects will be presented up front before you begin with each module, and they'll be discussed, and I'll ask that you interact with the material. Now, it's going to be private, self-contained, but I'm encouraging you to participate with the material, because the philosophy behind it is that it's knowledge, yes, it's logic-based. We learn and then do. I encourage you to learn and do. Now, of course, that is appropriately, depending on the situation. And now we can kind of apply sense to that, okay? We can't be reckless in applying this, but if it's something that is, you can do it. Because if you put it off, then it's just for what? This is all very much reality-based. This is for you to be able to embody the material. Embody. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about my background here. I have a background as an educator, and as a scientist, and as a coach. This, so that you can embody the skills that you may acquire. Practice is a must. If you don't practice it, then how can you possibly expect to acquire the skills? I don't think it's possible, quite honestly. Reality doesn't negotiate. It doesn't argue. It just is. Therefore, I want to give you ready-to-go, real-time based tools that you can take and apply. The term cognitive ergonomic tool. That's a combination of three words, cognitive ergonomic tool. The three words working together, I put them together, and I'm claiming that what they yield, it is not a tool that compensates for anything that you're lacking, but on the contrary, it expands your already natural capacities. Because when you combine those three terms, and you consider the world around us now, with the advent of technology, we don't outsource our critical thinking to a machine. We don't do that. We're sovereign. What we do instead is we use technology around us to task it to do this or to do that, while we're doing the critical thinking. Now, let's discuss the modular construction of the workbook. The modules are built sequentially. One builds on top of the other. However, you can start wherever you want. As a matter of fact, I do encourage you to repeat them, because with practice, you'll get better. And let me remind you, that is a must. You must learn and do. Again, I say carefully, not be reckless, be wise in how you interpret this, what I just said. But learn, do. Now, the first module, it is the binary logic accuracy engine. What it does is that it filters out the noise. You know, words have meaning, terms have meaning, a claim has meaning. Therefore, we can then objectively hear it and interpret it quietly, cogently, using logic to mean what it actually means rather than it be noise. That's why that's first. Second, it's all data. That borrowed from the Stoics, the Greek Stoics. What I mean by that is, nothing should alarm us. Everything should be kept cool. Because why do we want to be worried about this term or that claim or that claim? They're all data. Now, of course, we treat them appropriately, but they're all data. Therefore, we frame it as such coming in, and then we can be cool and level-headed about contemplating our move. The third module, I'm calling it the dial-in module. That's where we take the 3 C's of catch it, check it, and change it. Now, I do have micro lessons available for you to learn more about this, and I'll be building that library as we go along. Those are the first 3 modules. They're key. Module 4 is self-esteem, is how we see ourselves and how we project that we see in ourselves to the outside world. And in return, how we interpret the outside world's perspective or opinions even of ourselves. That is self-esteem. Identity. It is so self-esteem, let me go back. It is who we are. Now, I'll define more about this as a per individual module, so to be clear. Identity now, it is about our sovereign identity. It is what we decide our identity is. It is not how others see us, but it's how we sovereignly see ourselves. I'll get more into that too as well, just to be clear. The next one is number 6. Module number 6 is paradigm of conduct. A paradigm, a pattern, oftentimes it is not noticed by us, but it is there. We tend to repeat things. We tend to get involved in loops. And we may not recognize that, but in fact, that conduct creates a paradigm. And that paradigm contains our conduct. So it speaks loudly about us more than anything else. I say we must pay attention to this. Number 7 is confidence is not about bravado, definitely not about ego, but more about historical storage of aligned decisions that required effort is a big deal. Correction, realignment, action, always action. But it's grounded in historical reference. So it's like this. We have a data bank in which we store our experiences that we consider sovereignly, that build up our confidence. Now, it's not about ego, because think about this. Whenever in doubt, think about whether something that you're considering, perhaps it is logical or not. Is ego logical? Is that ego, I think, is ignorance times pride? That can't be good. It clouds our judgment. We make bad decisions. And we want to make good decisions, informed decisions, wise decisions. Therefore, ego is not wise. It is not logical. Module number 8 is the masculine trap. Of course, I'll elaborate on this, but right now, I just want you to think about all those stereotypes and sort of, just for a minute, by the way, because we're not supposed to give much thought to that stuff, because we don't really concern ourselves too much with that, because we're sovereign. We do our thing because it's the right thing for us to do. However, there exists this masculine trap out there, and I call it that because it could be a trap if you believe it. If you drink the Kool-Aid, yes. Therefore, I'm saying to you, let's not, and let's focus in on wisdom, because that's our superpower. Wisdom is your superpower. Wisdom is our superpower. Let's not fall for the masculine trap. Module number 9 is fit for the role. In life, we're going to play different roles. We're going to be engaging in different roles. For example, we may be sons, we may be brothers, we may be husbands, we may be boyfriends, we may be cousins, we may be friends, we may be employee, we may be employer, we may be career, whatever career you may be chosen. You've chosen whatever career you're actually doing. They're different roles. They are not who we are, they're what we do. But it's important, though, to take them seriously. And I say, let's be fit for the role. Each role requires a certain amount of preparation, and because it is part of self-governance to be fit, okay, for the role, and we need to do that. I think I said we need to do that. So we need to do the preparation that it takes to be the role that we are in our lives. There's also a physical fitness component. Of course, I'm going to include that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to include physical fitness components throughout each module. It's going to be progressive and regressive, up and down and up, okay, depending on where you are in your fitness. And I'll give you some general ideas, general parameters about fitness and how to improve your fitness and how to maintain your fitness and how to take care of yourself so that you be fit for the role of being a man. Yes, a masculine role. It's for being fit. Of course, fitness is not exclusive to males, but it is definitely inclusive to males. So that's fit for the role, module number 9. And then there's module number 10, which is love is the power source. Literally, I say that love is what powers the whole engine. The logical engine, the personal engine, the role engine, the fitness engine, the whole entire human engine. Love powers that. That's what I mean by love is the power source. It is what gives us the drive, the impetus, the focus, and gives us meaning. It gives us purpose, and gives us so much. I cannot be said enough. Love engulfs our lives. I say that love is the ultimate human expression. Okay? Now, I say love, it's a daily decision. Love is a daily decision. We must decide on a daily basis. Okay? The prep. Self-care is a form of self-love. Now, a lot of people get that twisted. They get that they misunderstand that. And it's not about, by the way, it's not about what other people think about it. It's about what we're doing. And if we're engaging in self-care because it's part of our preparation to being a man and to be in the roles that we are in our lives, it's all good, you know? Therefore, self-love is very important. Now, self-love is maybe foundational for some of us because maybe for some reason we couldn't quite experience it earlier in our lives for whatever the reason. But yet we can discover it by self-loving ourselves. See, and another part of the preparation is that, let's face it, guys, if you want to have a partner, you got to have that skill down pat. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it is actually a skill too. It is a skill. It is not a feeling. It is really a decision primarily, and it is a skill. Believe it or not, yes, being able to connect with others from that heart place, it is a skill, very much so. And we may not talk about it like that, but it is. It's acquired. That's my proposal, and that it's the ultimate human expression. I really believe that. So let me go back to prep. The prep. It's about, if we want to have a significant other in life, we got to be able to connect from this place. You know, if you can't, you know what? We're going to have a hard time finding a partner. We truly are. I mean, you know, we humans, we relate to other people with things in common. And in a partner, we also have to connect. You know, that's what they call the chemistry, the attraction, the chemistry component. Well, we don't have that heart stuff, we can't ever connect. That's what I propose. Another thing is this, that we love, is that a decision? Now, we give to whom we love. We give to whom we love. So, love is, for me, primarily a function from the inside out. That is the ultimate, for me, that is the ultimate form of the human kindness. The human kindness. Yes. So this is a topic that it's very complex, I understand, but it's something that I think we should talk about too. Something that we should incorporate part of our self-governance, part of our self and our governance. Okay, let me talk about that some of the subjects that I've discussed, you may have some questions about, and I understand that. And I want to tell you a little bit about my personal approach. My personal approach is that of a Socratic approach. That is that I start with saying that I know nothing. I know that the only thing that I know is that I know nothing. So from that place, from that posture, I start. Oh, I have a lot of questions. I don't have many answers. And in the workbook, you're going to encounter some questions, respectful, appropriate questions for self-introspection, appropriate introspection, to truly learn about ourselves and to become who that we want to be, in the full sense of the word. So, and I think this will be the best approach. That's what I'm proposing. And if you have questions, I understand. Anybody watching who has questions, think of these modules as placeholders because there's a lot more to come. I'll be describing them and doing what I'm calling micro lessons. Okay, and I'll be uploading them onto different media so that if you want to, you can download them at your leisure and view them and benefit from them. At least I hope so. Thank you very much.